Hey Wellness Warrior, it's Dr. Zyrowski, and in this video we're going to look at the top 10 signs that you have a deficiency. It's very common that we walk around with vitamin and mineral deficiencies, have lots of symptoms that are disrupting our everyday life, but we don't know that it's happening, and most of all, we don't really know what to do about it. So first of all, we have to identify the problem, and then we can actually start making some changes. The fact is the first time I ever did a test looking at all the different vitamin and mineral stores in my body, I was shocked at how many deficiencies I had for how healthy I was actually eating. So even if you're following a healthy diet, you still end up with these. So let's go ahead and dive in so that you can actually live a better life through healthier nutrition. So the first symptom that we're going to look at is that you're tired all the time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you multiple symptoms so that we can try to be as specific as possible and hone it in on the particular vitamin or mineral that you could be facing a deficiency in. So if you're tired all the time and you notice that you have a lot of weakness, then this is very typical of an iron deficiency. Okay, so especially those who don't eat a lot of red meat or a lot of seafood, it's very common to have an iron deficiency. So we want to look out for that if you're feeling a lot of fatigue, because what this will do is this will affect our red blood cells. And when this happens, you'll see this show up on a lab test, okay? And when you get your lab test, you're going to see that many of your red blood cell markers are going to show up as low. So if you're getting tired and weak all the time, then we want to look at this. A lot of people would describe the feeling of having an iron deficiency as feeling like you're just walking through water all the time. It's like, oh, the fatigue never ends. Now let's take a look at thyroid, okay? So if you're having thyroid issues, if you're also having shortness of breath, if you have unexplained weight gain as well, then this all could be an iodine deficiency. And the reason that I put thyroid there is because many women especially have thyroid problems, and the fact is that when we get into some of the more in-depth comprehensive thyroid testing in my clinic, one of the things that we often find is that there is an iodine deficiency. It's huge. Almost every test that we do shows that there's an iodine deficiency in someone who has a thyroid problem. So we want to think about that, think about it seriously. Next is just general pain and discomfort, okay? Some other things that you may have is asthma, and then also have a depressed immune system, okay? So if you have a depressed immune system and even facing some depression mentally, what are these signs of? This is signs of a vitamin D deficiency. So the pain and discomfort, that's a real obvious sign, because it means you'll likely have a lot of inflammation in your body, because without vitamin D, there's a lot more inflammation that is there to basically make you feel miserable every day. So pain and discomfort and some of these other symptoms can all be a vitamin D deficiency. Once again, the best thing is to actually test for this so you can figure it out. So if you have poor vision, especially at night, you also notice that you have poor eyesight throughout the day. And you know, this is the type of thing where it's like, not that you have just bad eyes and you've always had bad eyes, but it's just like you notice that your vision is going downhill rapidly. And then you also notice that your immune system's not functioning as well. This is common for a vitamin A deficiency, okay? And so I see a lot of vitamin A deficiencies out there, and when people start to have some different eye problems that show up, a vitamin A deficiency is very common to see along with that. Now next on our list is going to be leg cramps, okay? Some other symptoms that you may have that correlate with these leg cramps that would point you towards this particular deficiency is going to be metabolic syndrome. You have some cardiovascular condition like heart disease you're facing. Also anxiety. So somebody who's just, they're mentally kind of wound up all the time. And then poor sleep at night. If you have the leg cramps associated with those other symptoms, it's very common to find yourself with a magnesium deficiency. And if you're somebody who just has a lot of stress in general in your overall lifestyle, then magnesium is something that you want to add back in, because it's been found that magnesium is depleted in a lot of people. So I'm a huge fan of this. You know, I recently was talking on my Instagram account how magnesium, taking it regularly at night, is probably one of the biggest transformative things I've done for my health over the past year. It's just helped me sleep so much better. And I noticed that not only did it help me sleep, but it helped me feel good as far as mood goes throughout the day. And not only is it gonna help your sleep, but you gotta think about it. If you're getting better sleep at night, like, how impactful is that to you towards your entire bodily health? So Magnesium here, bloating, okay? So if you're somebody who has bloating all the time, every time you eat something and just the bloating never stops, then what you could have is a enzyme deficiency, okay? Your pancreas is not putting enough enzymes into the gastrointestinal system to help you break down your food, and you're not able to break down your food properly, which actually can lead to all these other deficiencies if you're actually not getting the nutrients from your food. So if you have this, then what you can do is you can utilize digestive enzymes in order to help you break down your food better and give you a lot more comfort digestive wise, okay? So if you're getting a lot of bloating and a lot of discomfort from a digestive perspective, then what you can do is take an enzyme and do this with every meal, okay? So if you're breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or maybe you're intermittent fasting, just doing 2 meals a day, just take a capsule with the meal itself. And I'll put some links in the description below to give you some resources as to, some of these specific things I'm talking about and what I would use if I was taking a digestive enzyme or if I was taking magnesium or something along those lines. Next is erectile dysfunction, okay? A lot of men suffer with this issue. And what this is a sign of is low testosterone, okay? So also, if you're a guy and you just have a little overall poor mood and just like fatigue a little bit and you're dealing with this, it's certainly a testosterone deficiency issue. So if you have low testosterone, what you want to do is work on getting that up, and you don't have to go through testosterone replacement therapy. What you can actually do is just focus on eating a healthier diet, start exercising, start intermittent fasting, and then also what you can use is a natural mineral like shilajit, which I'll put a link in the description below to something like that, but it's a natural compound that actually helps bring your testosterone up. Very research proven and really awesome. I've had many men who have used it based off my recommendations and found that it works great, okay? And I'm a big fan of doing all these natural things before ever going towards getting like testosterone replacement therapy, okay? There's so many things you can be doing. Unfortunately, many people are just sitting around, men not exercising, not eating right, doing all the wrong things. They're like, oh, why is my testosterone low? It's not real complicated to figure that one out. Now let's look at low energy, okay? So if you're somebody who is low energy all the time, you're dealing with a lot of fatigue as well, then this could be a lack of sodium in your system, okay? Maybe you're craving salty foods all the time. So lack of sodium, more salt can really help here. We're all told to stay away from salt and how dangerous it is. It actually is quite the opposite. Getting good, healthy, like pink salt, Himalayan salt, with all the different minerals in it, very, very healthy for you. Now you might be saying to yourself too, Dr. Zyrowski, you said tired and fatigue here, low energy, how are you supposed to differentiate these? And it's a great question, okay? So that's why this information I'm giving you is very valuable, because it gives your mind, it gets your mind turning, gives you the proper information to make some decisions. However, sometimes what you need is some further testing to actually identify very specifics here, because you can have a lot of these symptoms cross over. Clinically, this is what we see all the time, is some symptoms can cross over, and what somebody might have found off Dr. Google is not at all what they actually need, and they're just going down totally the wrong path. And from a clinician standpoint, sometimes it's necessary to have a blood test in order to accomplish this, and this is why we get very specific when we do patient care. So anyway, look at these, and then of course realize, hey, give them a try, and if it works for you, then that's great, you're on the right path. However, you may need some further testing or something to identify. Swelling, so if you have swelling all over your body, you have edema that's showing up in your ankles and your feet, then what this is typically is a potassium deficiency, okay? You could also have arrhythmias, you can also have muscle cramping. If you're having this occur, think potassium. It's estimated that only 2% of the population get their adequate amounts of potassium every single day. So think about this, okay? So if you're noticing swelling, potassium. It's very, very common for you to have a deficiency in that. And then next, digestive issues, okay? So if you're somebody who just has digestive problems and it's like, well, I don't know what it is, it's all over the place. One of the best things that you can do to get started with overcoming these digestive concerns is start taking a probiotic, okay? And so your gut needs probiotics to produce hormones in order to actually help break down food and produce nutrients for your brain to function properly. These probiotics, this microbiome as it's called, is very important for your overall digestive health. So if you have a lot of stuff going on, work on improving digestive health by taking a probiotic daily. So these are some of the symptoms you can look for. If you enjoyed this video, I really think you'll like this video over here next.